All right, I'll share my screen. By the way, if you have any questions, please put on the chat. Okay, all right. So I was talking about the three terms being used interchangeably. We should have clear idea and distinction of what each is. For example, when we say generative AI, it will help you generate new content. Example, ChatGPT, Gemini, and so on. Agentic AI is a kind of a paradigm. For example, AutoGPT, who is going to plan an entire project. Another example I often give is its agentic AI is like your personal assistant. That personal assist, you will give directions or goal to a personal assistant. PA will then use vendors or other people to actually make that happen or implement step by step or part by part, component by component. So that each individual task will be actually implemented maybe by an autonomous AI agent or by making a call to a tool or function call, API call, and so on. So AI agent is an autonomous agent which can act on its own given a particular goal. So for example, a chatbot or a travel assistant bot or couple of examples that we have seen earlier. All right, so this is a kind of theory I wanted to set the stage. Let's go to Gemini-CLI. Now it's an open source AI agent powered by Google's Gemini 2.5 Pro and integrated directly in our terminal. It allows us to put the natural language prompt for performing tasks like I can ask it to write code, I can ask it to debug the code, I can ask it to explain the existing code base or refactor it, generate the content, perform certain tasks to read or write file, or connect to the internet sources, get the data, and give me the research out. And it also supports multimodal capabilities like text and images. And in future, we can see also audio, video, and so on. Available on all platforms. You can also use in VS Code and other IDEs as a Gemini code assist. The first 2 points are the actual differentiators. This is what sets Google Gemini CLI very popular and as a forefronter compared to its alternatives. It gives you a 60 requests per minute and 1,000 requests per day with your personal Google account. You can go and subscribe to it. It gives you 1 million token context window. A token is a small chunk of text, and the context window is how many tokens a model can keep in mind at once. For example, its short-term memory. If you exceed it, the older text will be dropped. It's like a sliding window. But that 1 million token context window is very huge, and no other free tool or alternative gives you this kind of a bigger context window. Of course, there are built-in tools which I'm going to show, and MCP. We are going to have another session on MCP and many other related topics. What are the some of the use cases? I can ask use it to generate code, refactor existing code. I can also use it for bug fixes, unit test generation, documentation, code review, and so on. Of course, I can use it for content creation or search. I can also use in future this will be supported for images, videos, audio, and so on. CLI GitHub action, some of you must be aware, GitHub action is a CI/CD tool. And this is also integrated as a part of one of the tools in Gemini CLI. And you can perform maybe deployment or build using CI/CD. You have an legacy code written in older versions and you want to migrate it. This tool can help you migrate. You have a large chunk of data sets in multiple formats. I want to bring it in one format, identify the trends, gaps, generate reports, all kinds of data analysis can be done. And of course, I can use it to create scripts which can automate my repetitive tasks. Claude Code, Cursor, Codex CLI, GitHub Copilot, by the way, is a IDE integrated. It's not terminal based, but Claude Code is a terminal based AI agent. Of course, there was prior research and projects that helped to reach whatever AI based and agent based tools that we have today. Of course, the USP of Gemini CLI is the context window, multimodal support, and the generous requests that we get as a part of free account. Here are various commands that are available. Slash commands, at the rate commands are used for setting the context to a file, directory, and so on. I can also use shell commands to get the status and list the directory and so on. There's interactive as well as prompt mode. I can switch from one model to the other model. I can do file project analysis and integrate with other tools. I'm going to show you practically this. Now, this is the prerequisites. I'm going to share few links on the chat which you can explore. For example, Node.js is required, and Gemini CLI is a Node package that we can install. You will need a Google account or an API key. Today, we are going to create an Android application. So you have to install Android Studio and run the emulator to see it working. Of course, you can also the application on a real device. We are going to, of course, you have to download and install Gradle and add it to the path environment variable. This is essential. Otherwise, Gemini CLI will not be able to build this Android application. I'm going to check in the code into GitHub repository. So I must install the Git on my local machine. And of course, we need the GitHub account. All the links I have shared on the chat so you can explore. Of course, all the prerequisites I have already installed. These are the two links which gives you information and idea about what this Gemini CLI is. First is the NPM package. Here you can just see that there was a newest version released just 10 hours. You can see this. And 2.22 is the latest version. If you scroll down, of course, it gives you more information of why Gemini CLI is better, how to install it as a node package, or if you are on different OS, you can use Home. These are the key features: understanding and generation, search, GitHub integration, and so on. You can log in using either your OAuth login, or you can use Gemini API key or Vertex AI. What is Vertex AI? It's actually a platform from Google for building generative AI applications. So how do we start? So we have to start with Gemini, and then there are various commands we can execute or give the prompt, or you can use various commands as slash commands or various built-in tools you can use and so on. So this same link is available as a GitHub page, and you can go through it and understand. There is a documentation and everything given already. Let's go to the terminal. So I have created a folder wherein I'm going to generate the code. Make sure you are going to the directory, and then, of course, I have prerequisites installed. Gemini CLI node package is also installed. Okay. If you are running this for the first time, it will ask you to log in. After login, you can put slash, and it gives you information about the various commands that are available. If I choose just about, it gives me what version and so on. I can also change the authentication method, and you can see that I have various options that I can use to manipulate the settings and so on. You can use this quit to come out of a Gemini CLI tool. I can also get the list of available tools. I can view and edit settings. I can also set up the GitHub action, which I talked about on the slide for CI/CD. And that's it. Now, uh, now I am in the interactive mode. If you just use Gemini, I am in the interactive mode. If you want to be in the non-interactive mode, then you will use this hyphen p or double hyphen prompt and directly give a prompt which it will try to resolve by understanding what is the expectation that I'm setting here. All right. So now I'm going to ask it to create. Of course, there are many other things. It also tells me which model I'm using, how much context window is left, whether I'm using sandbox or not, in which local folder currently I am. I can also use @ to set a scope to a particular file or directory. All right. So I instead of writing this, I'm going to put here. I'm going to put on the chat also. What I want is I want to create a Android application in for displaying the menu items, and then we can add, build, and add more functionality. I'm going to create a basic application to show you how we can do that, and you can then add more functionality uh, later. I'm explicitly telling it use Kotlin and Jetpack Compose, which Android SDK version I'm using locally, because if I don't set it, uh, as I mentioned earlier, be as explicit as possible. If you don't specify certain version numbers and so on, and you must have seen this with other Gen AI tools, it will infer some latest version or some version, and it will give you the code which may not be working with other versions. So it is also better to tell which OS you are currently using. I have already run those commands, so Gemini is aware that I am using Windows 11 and I do have certain softwares installed and so on. I'm also telling it use Gradle Kotlin and create a activity with this particular message. I'm also explicitly telling it don't create any subdirectory. Uh, Whatever code you are generating, generate in the same code. The reason is if it creates a subdirectory, then the context and the workspace directory will be different. So the further commands may not work. I will be running this on emulator, so I'm going to run Android Studio. In the background, if you are running this for the first time, you will get certain questions. And with the Android Studio, I do have a emulator created. I'm going to run this. Notice it is not asking me, but if you are creating any files, folders, or it will ask you permissions every time. I have already given it permissions to make sure it works. Okay, this is what I was talking about. Sometimes it will ask you, in fact, every time it will ask you, this is what I'm going to do, read, write, create files, update files. Do you give me permission to allow it once, always, or you want to modify with external editor, or I want to suggest the changes. So this is what you can choose. I'll simply say allow always. Notice my emulator is running, and let me keep it to the side, bring it side by side. Okay, now notice I created the Android application and it understood that Gradle build also can be done. So I was supposed to give it as a next instruction that perform a Gradle build, but it understood and it asked me, do I want to do Gradle build for this application? Absolutely yes. Any questions to ask in the meantime? This is very straightforward. You just have to install the prerequisites. Showing you for this, but if you look at the tools, then there are many other tools also available. Where is you can also, yeah. If you search for tools, it will tell you that there is web search. Let me show you here. Somewhere it is there about search. Uh, You can see here. These are the tools available for working with files or shell commands, web fetch and search, multi-file operation. These are the various tools available which you can explore. I just want to show you how to uh, make this Android application for now. And if you look at the folders and files, notice how nicely it has automatically generated. I have given just one instruction to create an Android application. This is what I want. Use a specific SDK, use Kotlin, Jetpack, and all this. Again, if you are not aware, maybe you can ask it. I want to create an Android application. What all things I should be aware of? Of course, you can also put here a generic prompt which can perform Google search if you want to find information. If you want to plan for a particular trip, you can also get its itinerary or plan. Recipe question, related question, coding question. This will work similar to the way you are using Chat GPT. It's not just for coding purpose. You can use it as a general purpose also. Mohammed says, okay, I just put that initial prompt on the chat. Now notice that I have been using this a lot today. So my context window is over for Pro. It has now went back to Flash. So I will simply say, uh, let me just say, I'll simply say, uh, perform Gradle build and run the app on Android device. Now notice I'm not specifying where is the Android device, how to connect to it. I'm not specifying anything. I'm just telling it a generic instruction. And let's see if it can figure out that I'm running the emulator on the same machine and notice that it says build failed. uh, and there is some exception. I think this. Let me run the previous prompt again. All the files may not have been created completely. Say build a tool. I wanted to follow up on certain points. If given access to the necessary account, will it automatically do the following up? Devasnata has asked a very good question. Uh, if you are asking, will it remind you? Are you asking as a from a reminder perspective?
Sort of like a system where, say, my application is already published and the customers have registered for a service. So, if there is a following up that is needed to be done on a periodic basis until there is a response or a certain action satisfied, things like that.
Kind of scheduling. So either it could be scheduling or event based. You want to trigger. You can write a
Yeah.
script for that.
Okay.
You will have to write a script. See, this is a LLM based AI agent, right? Agent will perform a task to generate or give you something. It will
Mhm.
not act as a scheduler or reminder.
Okay. Understood.
You will have to build up an application which will, maybe there is a function which will, whenever some customer is subscribing, I'm just giving you an example, someone is subscribing to your website, and on subscription you want to send an email or a
Yeah.
notification. If such kind of system, you will have to create it using this agent, or you will have to build a specific task scheduler or reminder kind of a agent itself. This Gemini CLI, we can use it to create something. It will not do the task on your behalf. I hope you are
Understood.
getting the distinction.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Okay, yeah. A very good question. Mohammed is saying yes, but I don't know what is your question. If you, any others, if you have any questions, which will override exam, would you like to proceed with building and running the app that is build and run? I tried to build and run it, but it was showing some error. So maybe sometimes you will have to try it out because the context, notice the context window was over, so it abruptly stopped. So it could be that there was some issue or incomplete files are created. So you can see here, creating missing files. Uh, Notice there were some missing icon files. So it is trying to figure out what is the problem. It will identify the issues, bugs, or something is missing. Then it will try to fix that and proceed also. Okay, there is an app that is created. I'm just opening. See, notice it did not auto launch. That was the only thing. But it fixed. First time I created, there was some issue. It fixed those issue, added missing files, and finally it did the Gradle build for me. Also, important note: if you are using Gradle build or any build automation tool, you have to be uh, you must remember to go to environment file variable, go to path, and you can see here I have already set up the Gradle path here. If not, it will not understand how to do it on your local system. You will have to manually do it. So everything was set up, hence it used those system. And Mohammed, the app is, let me just show you on the slides. I think I didn't show you that slide. So we are going to create a new Android project. We are going to display some menu items, populate the data there. We are going to run the Android emulator. Then I will initialize a Git repository on GitHub, and then I will commit and push the code to a GitHub repository. This is what I'm showing you. I hope this is clear to everyone. Okay, perfect. This is what I'm just doing on the terminal. I have created the application. I'm running it. Now, what I'm doing is I will ask it to create a sample JSON file, okay, inside the app code with a list of menu items and display on home screen. What this will do is it will create a JSON file with some menu item. Now, as a next step, you may have an API. You may have to get the data from the database. That also part you can implement or use an existing API to integrate and call from this mobile application. Can we just create a front end? No, you can also create an API backend. You can also create a database design. Anything is possible as long as you are able to connect to it. Now, in order to connect to this emulator for installing and running the application, it used something called as ADB. If you are not familiar, Android Debug Bridge, that's a command line tool that allows us to communicate with and control the Android device or emulator from our computer. Notice it is also testing it whether installation is successful or there is any issue and so on. Only thing is now it is not auto launching it. There is seems to be some kind of an issue. Okay. Uh, there is an issue while launching app. Can you identify and fix it? Of course, I can go to ADB also, debugger, and figure out what is the issue and so on. But let's see if notice again it used that ADB command to find out why our application is I'll say this. Okay, it is saying that please provide ADB logcat command and so on. Okay, we will have to do that. We have just 10 minutes left. So again, if there is an issue, we will have to go through the, again, the prompt itself, we can kind of figure out and so on. Now, let's say my application is built. Now, next step, I want to check it into GitHub repository. Now, what I will put is, I'll say, create a GitHub public repo with this thing and push code to it. That's it. Simple instruction. Okay. Now, note it will use all the Git commands. I'll say allow always. I had already if you are doing for the first time, then it will ask you to uh, get connectivity to this GitHub account first. For this, you will not supply the username password. You will go to the settings of your command. Then you will go to developer settings. and you will create some token. Now, this token is called as PAT or Personal Access Token. So you go to this GitHub link. Once you can see that I have already, oh, it's already expired. Maybe it will ask for that. Um, Go to github.com, set the repository to this. Do not initialize with the initial commit is complete. You have to create a public repository on GitHub and then push your local code to it. Actually, it will ask for, uh, I'll say I don't want to do it manually. I have Git installed locally. Connect to my GitHub account using pad and then create public repo and check in code. This is what I want this particular agent to do on its own. I don't want to manually do anything. Okay, you will then, oh, uh, it's not asking me this. However, I cannot directly connect to your. Okay. Last time I did this, and what it did was it asked for the pad. I gave it the pad. Then I can also add a git ignore file so that not the build output is not checked in. Only the actual source code files are checked in. This once the pat is given, I'll just show you the actual repository that is created. And I had actually renamed it because I wanted to create with the same name. So if you notice this entire repository was created by that agent itself. I didn't manually do anything. Only thing is I created that pat and I had given the pat as an input here. It created this public repository, checked in the code. I also asked it to create a README with the specific details within the README. So everything was done using the natural language prompt. I didn't do any manual thing. But here now again, we will have to somehow convince it to use PAT to do these steps. But I hope you get the idea of. Yes, Devasnata, that could be also the reason, correct. Now it has fallen back to the Flash, which is a kind of a lower model compared to Pro, right? When I tried this with Pro, today itself I had tried this, and you can see this is the repository. I'm sharing it on the chat itself, which you can look at later. All right, so this is what uh, I have shown you just a few aspects of it. Of course, there are many other commands that you can use. Slash commands, you can give a context of a specific file or directory to refactor the code or to explain the code, existing code, to improve the code. If you want to improve the space complexity or the time complexity, you can do that. You can analyze the project to figure out if there are any static analysis gaps or issues that you can fix. The same application, you can make it as complex as possible for displaying the menu item, making the order, integrating the payment gateway, and so. Now, this is your challenge. You can create a simple application. It could be mobile application, web application, or you can take the same application of creating a restaurant menu application and try to implement it. Again, I have shared you all the links for Google Gemini CLI, and you can uh, freely try this out. And you can post on the social media, and do remember to tag Principal AI. And I would love to see your creations, whatever you are creating. You can also, as Devasnata mentioned, she want to do some kind of a scheduler or reminder kind of application. So you can try that out, and I want to see your agentic creativity in action. So this brings us to the poll. We are going to conduct many more such sessions freely for everyone. Here is the poll I on the chat. I would really appreciate if you could respond to this poll. You could also post, you give your feedback on YouTube or LinkedIn. I would like to see your feedback. What is the next kind of session you would like? If you could just respond, I would appreciate that. All right, this brings us to the closure of today's webinar. I hope you enjoyed it. You have also learned quite a bit, few things. I just want to show you one more aspect. If you go to VS Code, this is the terminal I had shown you. There is an extension called Gemini Code Assist, which will also give you similar aspects like a GitHub Copilot. Maybe we can have a session on GitHub Copilot or other agentic or GenAI tools in the next session. Uh, do tag and let us know. We will be happy to have the next session accordingly. So please do subscribe on YouTube. The same session is recorded and available there. Do follow us on social media. Do check out the Principal AI's site. And I do really appreciate their support to make these sessions free for everyone. Do tag us while showing us what you are going to create. I would love to see your project, whatever uh, use case you want to implement. Thank you, Devasnata, for your feedback. Really appreciate it. We do have Mohammed Pratham. I know some of you already. Uh, Thank you very much for joining us today. And I will see you in the next one. Have a good night, everyone. Thank you, Pratham. Appreciate your comments. Thank you, Mohammed. Good night, everyone. Bye bye. Take care. See you in the next session.